Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. The Radio and TV News Endowment, a fund established by listeners and viewers to sustain reporting of Indiana news. More information at indianapublicmedia.org/support. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. With the primary election just around the corner, the fight for Indiana's 9th district is heating up.
Yes, I'm opposing the incumbent in the Republican primary.
Ahead, we'll look at all the competition on both sides of the aisle for incumbent Trey Hollingsworth. Plus, we'll show you what members of the U.S. military are doing to prepare for an attack on domestic soil.
I've never seen anything like this really across the country.
And some Indiana counties still don't have access to high-speed internet. Ahead, why rural areas are so far behind cities and suburbs.
Programs have been created over and over again by the legislature, and they never fund them because, one, they're not serious about it, and two, the major carriers fear any new competition coming in.
Coming up, more on the future of rural broadband in Indiana. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. The primary election is less than 1 month away, and several congressional seats across the state are being contested. Among them is Indiana's 9th district, which saw a crowded field of candidates just 2 years ago. Now, several people are challenging incumbent Republican Trey Hollingsworth, who won the 2016 race with 54% of the vote. But as Barbara Brozier reports, they face several obstacles.
Candidates for Indiana's 9th congressional district spoke to a packed room about their views on health care this week, but at least one chair remained empty.
We started inviting him in January.
Republican Representative Trey Hollingsworth declined to attend the event. The freshman congressman is up for re-election and has 4 challengers. One of them is from his own party.
Yes, I'm opposing the incumbent in the Republican primary.
James Dean Allspatch is challenging Hollingsworth because he says the congressman hasn't done a good job representing his constituents.
People want their votes to count, and they want the message to be loud and clear. You should not be able to buy a seat in the United States House of Representatives, and that's exactly what Hollingsworth has done.
2 of the Democrats hoping to run against Hollingsworth in November offered many of the same criticisms, saying it helped motivate them to get in the race.
I'm running because I'm sick and tired of a Congress that's been bought and paid for. It's been sold off in pieces to big pharma, to health insurance companies, to the Koch brothers, and to Trey Hollingsworth's dad.
I really want change. And that means that we have to change how we do things and the people that are doing them and the way that they're doing them. My campaign is going to offer that to you.
Democrat Dan Cannon avoided addressing the current congressman and instead focused on the topic at hand, improving America's health care.
I want to talk about a true single-payer program and being on a path to real single-payer in the United States.
Both Cannon and Watson have raised more than $300,000 for their campaigns. That means next month's primary is expected to be competitive on the Democrat side, with several legitimate challengers. Experts say the same can't necessarily be said for the general election.
What people have to remember is that it sort of looked this way in 2016. But by the time it was done, the vote totals had a slightly different story.
Back then, Hollingsworth faced Democrat Shelley Yoder in what was also expected to be a close race, but he won the election by 14 points, and he has an even bigger advantage this time around.
I think it's safe to say that Hollingsworth has access to money in ways that a lot of people don't in terms of personal wealth, but he's also an incumbent, and as a rule, incumbents have an easier time raising money than challengers do.
The district has flipped back and forth between Democrat and Republican over the years. It spans from Johnson all the way down to Floyd County, but its current boundaries may give Hollingsworth yet another advantage.
I think that most people are considering it to be a district that now leans Republican. Doesn't mean that a Democrat can't win it. It just means that challenge, or the challenge to do that's gotten a little greater.
All of Hollingsworth's challengers are aware of that. They're counting on voters who are dissatisfied with his performance in Congress to get to the polls. And as Hoosiers learned in 2016, nothing is guaranteed when it comes to Indiana politics. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Barbara Brozier.
We did reach out to Hollingsworth's campaign, but the congressman wasn't available for an interview. The 9th District is one of several races Hoosiers will cast a ballot for in next month's primary, and early voting is already underway. But as the election process begins, experts say some residents may opt not to participate. The deadline to register to vote was Monday, and while primary voting is traditionally low, an expert says the United States makes it more difficult.
Most democracies don't require their citizens to register in order to vote. They have a list of their citizens. You just come and show up at the polls.
Though Hershey says the interest in this year's elections feels higher this year than in previous years. She says it's more common in midterm elections for citizens to vote against what they don't like rather than in support of what they do. And she says the current political climate is encouraging that pattern.
We have to be careful not to generalize too far. Most college students, and to an even great extent, most non-college people of the same age, will not vote in 2018 and won't vote in 2020 either.
Indiana's primary elections on May 8th determine which candidates appear on the ballot for the midterm elections in November. Now for headlines, we go over to Barbara Brozier with the latest news and the top stories from around the state this week.
Thanks, Joe. An arts and activities center, office space, and a variety of housing projects could eventually go up on the current site of IU Health Bloomington Hospital. A team of experts proposed breaking down the site to make it easier to develop and rebranding the area. They say there is plenty of potential in this space for people of multiple generations and income levels.
It'll be a place where people can work and live in the same area and then enjoy all the other assets and amenities that are close by in Bloomington.
The city follows the recommendations. It could cost up to $134 million, but it's unclear how the project would be funded. Experts say Indiana could stand to benefit from President Trump's decision to reconsider joining a massive trade partnership. Trump backed out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership as one of his first acts as president last year. Experts say not participating in the TPP would leave the U.S. out of many important international discussions.
TPP would address so many issues such as environmental, worker rights, public procurement, trade unions.
11 other countries moved forward with ratifying the trade deal last month. And for the second time in 5 months, someone surrendered a baby using a safe haven baby box near Michigan City. The boxes act as incubators to protect babies who are abandoned under Indiana's safe haven law. A law passed this year allows the boxes to be installed in firehouses in addition to hospitals. Efforts are underway to install one in Marion County. The food and beverage tax that went into effect earlier this year in Monroe County isn't hitting some businesses as hard as they expected. The 1-cent tax on every dollar spent on prepared food and drinks started in February. The tax applies to restaurants, bars, and grocery stores, but as Lindsay Wright reports, it also applies to catering.
The decision to enact the food and beverage tax was controversial from the beginning. Several business owners worried the tax would discourage people from going out to eat.
The math really just doesn't add up, and a significant amount of your constituents are against it, and still it seems that you're pushing this pyramid building.
Jeff Meese is the co-founder of the catering company One World Enterprises. He says he has had to notify customers of price increases, especially if they ordered catering services prior to the tax change. But he says it was often only a few extra dollars.
It's sort of no choice. You know, they can't go to another caterer and get it, you know, it's just they can not be happy with the local government, but that's, again, I think everybody sees it probably as just 1%.
But he does worry about the tax potentially increasing. That, he says, could hurt his business.
What you're likely to see is that down the road, there'll be, now that we have it in place, it's actually easier to say, let's make it 2%.
The money being raised from the levy will help pay for an expansion of the county's convention center. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
The Chief Justice of Indiana Supreme Court says there's a need for greater understanding of the opioid epidemic. Justice Loretta Rush participated in a panel discussion in the nation's capital this week that focused on that topic. She says the crisis is unlike anything she's seen during her time as a judge.
How can we safely leave children with their parents while their parents are going through recovery? And what is the role of the court with regard to the coordination of services to allow that to happen?
Rush is co-chair of the National Judicial Opioid Task Force, which is looking into expanding telehealth and telecourt options to help alleviate the opioid problem. An annual training exercise at Indiana National Guard's Muscatatuck Urban Training Center helps prepare troops to respond to a potential disaster on U.S. soil. As Sophia Salaby reports, people come from all over the country to participate.
We're in a scene that looks like it could be from the set of a disaster movie. There's overturned cars, signs calling for help, and demolished buildings. But it's actually all here as setup for a major military exercise at Muscatatuck Urban Training Center in Jennings County. Over the next month, more than 5,000 personnel from multiple branches of the military and other agencies will simulate a response to a nuclear detonation in a major city.
That's what you're going to get when you actually respond to an event, whether that's a tornado, whether that's a hurricane, whether that's a nuclear disaster. You're going to see those types of things, and that's what we want these first responders and exercise participants to see.
The training is an annual exercise at the center that's been going on since 2009. It's part of an effort to ensure troops are prepared to help local authorities respond to disasters, both natural and man-made, like a chemical or nuclear attack.
But it's something, if you think about your own family going through a catastrophic event like this and you can't get to them, we come in to assist the local authorities to save lives, mitigate any suffering, and decrease the property damage.
Preparations for the event include making realistic mannequins with a variety of injuries. Military personnel might find them trapped in collapsed buildings or on a derailed train. And civilians are brought in to act as role players to bring more realism to the exercise.
Oh, it gets very intense. I mean, you can see it in the soldiers' eyes. Even though they know that this is a mock, as soon as they see civilians screaming and crying or protesting and yelling at them in anger, it becomes very real very fast for them.
Colonel Brienne says that realism makes Muscatatuck an important resource for disaster readiness.
I know I've been serving in the military for 20 years, and prior to doing this Guardian Response exercise, I've never seen a venue this unique. The capability of it to exercise, I've never seen anything like this really across the country.
Brand also says there's so much focus on the military fighting abroad, we often forget the preparation in place for catastrophic incidents on U.S. soil.
It's kind of heartwarming to understand and know that we have the same protection in place and the same training in place to protect our homeland.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Sophia Salaby.
A recent Terre Haute job fair attracted more than 50 companies with immediate openings. Officials say that despite the 1,500 available jobs, the challenge is finding the right fit for workers.
That's what we hope to do through Work One and these other resources that we have here locally, just to be able to sit down and talk with them and help them, go back over their skills. Maybe they've kind of forgot some things from the past.
The job fair is in response to the 375 workers that will lose their jobs at the Sony DADC Inc. manufacturing and distribution facility between March and August. Another job fair is scheduled for next month. And Joe, that's something we've heard a lot about. There are jobs out there, but not people who are qualified to fill them.
And hoping that job fair will help a lot of people. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Barbara. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Coming up, many people move to rural areas for the slower pace of life, but for many that means dealing with the slower internet connection as well. And we'll hear from a Holocaust survivor that is the subject of a new documentary. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
The WTIU WFIU news team connects Indiana to the world. We bring you the top news of the day on radio, TV, and online. We round up the stories that have people talking each week and dig deep into the issues that affect your community the most. The WTIU WFIU news team is where you are and telling your story.
$10,000.
15? 15, you think?
20, 21,000?
600.
20. 18 fine.
24.
It's at least 40.
Look at it.
4,500,000.
650.
20.
650.
This textile would be worth about $500,000.
$500,000?
No way.
I knew it's just a blanket.
Laying on the back of a chair. Well, sir, you have a national treasure.
Wow.
A national treasure. Congratulations.
I can't believe this.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Well, for the third week in a row, protesters have disrupted Bloomington City Council meeting. Tyler Lake reports this time police were asked to escort them out of the meeting.
Police escorted the organizer of Black Lives Matter Bloomington out of a city council meeting this week after he interrupted the proceedings.
Mike, we've asked several times that the city council move.
Mr. Booker, you're out of order. Please.
Vox Booker was one of about a dozen protesters who attended. They've been interrupting city council meetings because they're unhappy the city is moving forward with a controversial armored vehicle purchase. Councilmember Dave Rollo asked the officers to remove Booker after he spoke out multiple times during the meeting.
I'm going to recess this meeting. Sergeant of Arms, would you please escort Mr. Booker out of the council chambers?
The first of the two meetings that evening celebrated the city's bicentennial.
Bloomington was founded on this day 2 centuries ago.
Booker waited until after an historical presentation by council and brief remarks by Mayor John Hamilton were finished before interrupting the meeting. The special session was quickly adjourned as he began speaking.
Okay. That takes us to the end of our meeting. This meeting is adjourned.
It was later, when council reconvened and he interrupted the committee of the whole, that police escorted Booker out of the council chambers. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Tyler Lake.
The protesters worked with some city council members to draft a resolution regarding the armored vehicle. That resolution will be on the agenda for the upcoming city council meeting next week. Despite a number of bills, billions in grant dollars, and plenty of rhetoric, broadband internet access in rural parts of Indiana and the country lags behind suburban and urban areas. Traditional carriers providing internet to most Hoosiers say it's expensive to serve rural areas. That's because residents are more spread out and the terrain makes building the necessary infrastructure more expensive. As Brock Turner reports, the lack of broadband is causing rural Indiana to fall behind.
David Phelps is a lifelong Brown County resident. To say he knows this area would be an understatement.
Other than college and maybe a year or so out of college, I've always lived here.
The South Central Indiana County is defined by rolling hills, quaint shops, and picturesque fall landscapes. Phelps says it's what's kept him here for so long.
I live on 5 acres right now, and it's nice to have wooded area behind me and space for our dogs to run and space for our my kids to be able to play.
But the rural setting does come with some drawbacks. It makes getting reliable, high-speed internet challenging. And it's not just an issue Phelps experiences firsthand. He's also the director of technology for the Brown County School District. where he talks to parents and students who are also frustrated. He estimates half of all students in the district do not have a reliable internet connection in their homes. While the district equips each student with a laptop, that doesn't necessarily mean they have the access to technology they need.
Just within the past 2 weeks, I've had a couple parents contact or a student that's contacted saying, I don't have access at home, so I need to make sure that I can do this here. Can you show me how to download a video so I can view it while I'm at home?
According to Broadband Now, a for-profit data company that measures internet access across the country, just over a third of Brown County residents have access to broadband internet. But that isn't the only place that's suffering. According to the group, 20% of Hoosiers only have access to service with one provider. They say there is a lack of competition across the state, and that hurts consumers.
Any private company, it's basically their job to secure their market position and make as much money as possible. And so long as internet is treated as sort of a luxury rather than like a utility, it sucks, and it's certainly not how I would like things to be.
While rural areas of the state continue to struggle accessing broadband internet, one REMC in South Central Indiana is changing that. South Central Indiana Rural Electric Membership Coalition began bringing service to its 7-county region in the 1930s. Traditional electric providers didn't want to serve rural areas of the state because they couldn't make a profit. Now, SCI is adding broadband to its list of services. The entire REMC's area will have high-speed internet by 2021.
So many folks don't have any kind of high speed. They don't even have cable or DSL in many cases in our area. So those folks are just ecstatic.
Tannenberger says he'll pay for the more than $80 million project by using existing savings, taking advantage of low-interest loans from the United States Department of Agriculture, and says SCI will be exploring other grant opportunities as they become available.
Despite trying, we haven't been able to get any grants or anything yet. So although there's a lot of talk out there, the actual funding that's making it to these projects is very little.
According to State Representative Matt Pierce, that became clear during this year's legislative session. Many lawmakers praised Indiana House Bill 1065, which provided incentives for carriers to enter rural areas of the state. But Pierce, who voted for the bill, voiced his concerns in the session's final hour.
Programs have been created over and over again by the legislature, and they never fund them because, one, they're not serious about it, and two, the major carriers fear any new competition coming in. Otherwise, why would they have put a provision in the bill that says no out-of-state companies may apply for the grant?
Both Pierce and Zimmer say providers self-report the areas they serve. For small providers, the process is costly. But Zimmer says large providers often take advantage of the system that is rarely subject to oversight. He says providers often say they provide service to an area that in reality does not receive service.
It's all about territory building, so it's not really in their interest to cough up perfect information.
Authors of such legislation say the bills have to be written in that way to ensure people without any service are prioritized. They also say it is important to have established providers and not companies that will go out of business. Pierce, however, isn't convinced. He says he believes creative solutions should be taken.
But I think it's simple enough to say that internet is a necessity and that the legislature and the governor should do everything they can to make sure that every resident of our state has access to adequate broadband.
Phelps can relate. He says the frustration is enough to make his family consider picking up and moving.
I've never really been away from this place all that much, and a decision to move would be a very big one. Yeah.
At least for now, Phelps says he's staying put. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
And a new documentary premiering this weekend in Terre Haute looks into the life of Eva Kor. Kor, a Holocaust survivor, has traveled the world sharing an important message. Lindsay Wright has more.
Kor has traveled the world, sharing her message of kindness and forgiveness. She was only 10 years old when she and her sister were sent to a concentration camp. They were the only members of the family who survived.
I accuse the world of stopping to care.
Kor says the new film about her life digs into her soul, which can be painful but necessary.
I cannot really sit down and enjoy my life without reflecting upon the fact that people today or fighting for the freedoms we so easily forget that we have.
Filmmakers Ted Green and Micah Brown traveled more than 90,000 miles while making the documentary, following Core back to the most important places in her life. Green says it resulted in a comprehensive look into Core's life that previously went unseen.
A rendering that delves deep into her time at Auschwitz and her forgiveness, but also explores for the first time the half-century between those two. The time right here in Terre Haute that tested her and challenged her.
Core still lives in Terre Haute, where she opened the Candles Holocaust Museum and Education Center in 1995. The documentary premieres in Terre Haute Saturday evening. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Lindsay Wright.
And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber, the Gigacity Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis, lawmg.com. The IU School of Education, preparing teachers, scholars, and administrators to improve teaching in Indiana and around the world. education.indiana.edu. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. alumni.iu.edu. The Radio and TV News Endowment, a fund established by listeners and viewers to sustain reporting of Indiana news. More information at indianapublicmedia.org/support. And by WTIU members. Thank you.